Have you ever wanted to create your own zombie game with unique mechanics? Recently I created this infected mechanic that if a zombie attacks you, you will then get infected and will need to seek treatment in order to remove that infection. I will go over how I set this up so that you can put this into your games, and I will also show you how to make a treatment cure to get rid of the infection. If you ended up using this mechanic in your game, drop the island code in the comments and I will try to check it out. Now let's hop right into it. I'm going to create a blank map for this tutorial and add some quick terrain. The first thing we're going to want to do is set up our material in our UI widget that visually shows that you have been infected. So let's set up our material. First, right click in your content browser and click Add New Material. The first thing we're going to do is on the left hand side. We want to change the material domain to user interface, then change the blend mode to translucent. Next, we are going to add in two constant 3s and change the bottom constant 3 to white and the top constant 3 to red. Once you have chosen your colors, you can then add in a multiply node and a lerp node. We will connect the red constant to multiply A, and we will connect the white constant to multiply B. Then we will connect the multiply node to lerp A. Then we will connect the white constant to lerp B. Then we will connect lerp to the base color. Now in a different section, let's create a scalar parameter and call it percentage. Then we are going to add in a texture coordinate node and a remap value range node, as well as a subtract node. Connect the percentage parameter to the remap value range node and then connect the result to subtract B. Now we will add in 3 more nodes: a seal node, mask node, and a clamp node. Connect subtract to seal, then seal to mask, then mask to clamp. Finally, connect clamp to alpha in the lerp node. Now we have our material set up. Next thing we need to do is add in a stat creator and call it infected stat. We will enable the max value and put in 100. And then I'm going to change the color to red for reference purposes. Now that we have that created, let's create our UI widget that shows us that we are infected. First, we'll go to our content browser, right click and go to user interface. Then click widget blueprint and select user widget. Give it a name and open it up. First, we'll add in a canvas panel. Then we'll add in an image and a text block. Let's change the text block to say, "You are infected. You need an antidote ASAP." You can change the appearance of your text to your liking. Next, we need to select the image we brought in. Should just be a white square or a rectangle if you resized it. Then on the right hand side, you will see appearance, brush, and then image. Click the image and search for the material that we just made. Now let's connect it to the stat view model. At the bottom of your screen, click View Bindings tab, then click Add View Model. From here, click the stat view model and click Select. Now click on the image and then click Add Widget here. You will then click here and select Brush. Over here we will click Widget, then click Set Scalar Parameter. Then where it says Parameter Name, we will name this the exact same way we named the parameter in the material, which was percentage. Underneath that, where it says Value, we will select MVVM_UEFN stat and select percentage. Now we are finished with that part, let's work on the actual mechanic. Now, if we go into the stat creator and go to its settings on the right where it says enabled phase, we want to set that to none because we don't want to have the player be infected right as the game starts. Then we'll also scroll down to the UI section where it says user widget and select the widget blueprint we just made. Then last thing we will need to do is just uncheck this box where it says show widget in list. Now, how this mechanic works is that when a zombie hits you and does a minimum amount of damage, it will activate the infection. To do this, we need to add in the stat counter device. First, we will set up the track stat to damage taken, and then check the box that says broadcast events on stat change. Now, this part will be up to you, but this is where we set up how much damage you need to take before you get infected. I'm going to choose equal or more than 20 so that if the player takes 20 damage, they are going to get infected. You're also going to want to go down to the functions where it says register player and select the player spawner device. Next, we need to connect it to the stat creator we made earlier. Click on the stat creator, then go down to functions where it says enable, Then add the stat counter and select on compare success. Now I am going to add in a creature spawner and just get it to spawn one fiend, and then let's just test it out and see if once the creature does 20 damage, if it will activate the infection as intended. So it looks like it works. Now we have to add in the infection so that the bar increases per second. You can also set this up however you like, if you wanted it to be every 2 seconds or 3 seconds, etc. Then if the bar gets full, your character will die. The way I like to do it is I like to put a timer device and another stat counter device. On the timer, we will change the duration to 1.0 seconds and then scroll down to completion behavior and change this to restart. Then we want to connect the timer device to start when the damage taken has been reached. For the stat counter, we want the tracked stat to be our infected stat. Then we want to change the override type to add an override value to 1. This will make it so that the infection will increase by 1 every second. Once it gets to our max value, which we set to 100, then we will set it up that the player dies. Then we want to go to the stat counter device for the infected stat, and then we want to override the value when the timer is complete. To do that, you need to add the health power up. Change the effect to flat decrease and the effect magnitude to 200. Then head down to the functions and where it says pick up, add in the stat creator and select on reached maximum. And now we can just test that out. As you can see, it's working as intended. Now let's set up the antidote. Let's add in a conditional button device and add an item that you would like to use as an antidote. For this example, I am just going to use a pepper. We also need another infected stat counter so that we can reset the infection back to 0 once you take the antidote. You can add in another stat counter and change the tracked stat to infected stat, and then check the box that says broadcast events on stat change. Then we will change the override type to set and the override value to 0. Then we will change the function of override value to the conditional button on activated. Then we are going to add in a timer device, change the duration to 1 second and the completion behavior to reset. Then we will connect our timer to start when the conditional button is activated, and then we will want to disable the stat creator device on success of the timer. Now I am just going to add in an item spawner for the peppers and an item spawner for a weapon, and then we're just going to go and test it out to see how it all works together. And just like that, you have an infected zombie mechanic that you can add into any one of your games. That's going to be it for this video. I hope this video helps with adding in an infected mechanic to your game. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and to also hit up our Discord server of many creators like yourself. I left a link in the description for you to check out. Thanks again for sticking to the end here. You are all legends. Stay spicy. I'm out. Peace.